Hey everyone, how is it going, and welcome to my Skeletal Wyverns money making guide. Skeletal Wyverns are a level 140 monster located in the Ice Dungeon just south of Port Sarim. Requirements to kill the Skeletal Wyverns are 72 Slayer and a Mind/Elemental Shield or a Dragonfire Shield. Recommended stats to kill the Wyverns are 80 plus in all your melee stats or 80 plus range if you are ranging them. Due to an update to the Wyverns drop table, they now have amazing regular drops, roughly 15k per kill, which is outrageous, and they also have rare drops such as Elite Clue Scrolls, Dragon Plate Legs and Plate Skirts, and the Draconic Visage. Alright guys, so now that you know a little bit about Skeletal Wyverns, let's move into the gear setups. The first gear setup I'm going to show you is the cheaper melee setup. So, as you can see, we have on a Verdax helm, a Fury, a Thorax plate, a Verdax skirt, D-boots, Barrow's gloves, a whip, a fire cape, and a mind shield. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you do have to wear either an elemental shield or a mind shield. This is because Skeletal Wyverns use a Dragonfire Breath sort of attack. Now, anti-fire potions don't help, and a regular anti-fire shield doesn't work. Why, I don't know. So if you can't afford a DFS, the best thing you can wear is a mind shield. That being said, obviously a mind shield has pretty much no defense bonuses at all, other than magic defense. So in order to counteract that, you kind of have to try and stack up on the melee defense gear, which is why we're wearing the Barrow's armor. Moving into the inventory, we have one superset, a Dragon Mace for special attacks, house tabs, a Lunar Staff / a Drayman Staff, a Ring of Slaying, and the rest sharks. Alright, so now moving into our higher tier melee gear setup, we have on a Helm of Need Is Not, an Amulet of Fury, bandos top and bottom, D-boots, Barrow's gloves, a whip, a fire cape, a DFS, and a Berserkering Eye. Now, if you remember our last gear setup, we had on a Barrow's armor to try and help out our defense bonuses as much as we could. However, now, even despite the fact we're wearing a Helm of Need Is Not and bandos, our Dragonfire Shield makes our defense bonuses very, very high. So, with this setup, you actually have, not only do you have more defense bonuses because of the DFS, you also have more strength bonus, meaning you're going to get more kills per hour, and you're going to use about the exact same amount of food, even less perhaps. So this is pretty much the optimal setup I've found as far as money making, because it really does optimize your kills per hour. Moving into the inventory, we have a superset, a Dragon Mace, house tabs, a Lunar Staff, a Ring of Slaying, cannonballs, sharks, and a cannon. Now I'm going to get into why you're going to be using a cannon for a money making method in just a second, and as well as that I'm going to be talking about the Zamorakian Hasta. Now I know a lot of you might know that the Skeletal Wyverns are weak to crush, however I will explain to you why it is better to use an Abyssal Whip. So first of all, let's go over why you want to be using a cannon. It's actually quite simple. As I mentioned earlier, Skeletal Wyverns have an average kill of around 15k. Their regular drops are that good that you can expect over a long period of time around 15k per kill. Now that being said, cannonballs are currently only about 210 GP each. Skeletal Wyverns have 200 hit points. Now, if you have high melee stats between your whip hits and some cannonball hits, 200 HP, they go down pretty quickly. So any help you get from the cannon is actually worth it, because more kills per hour when they're roughly 15k per kill is going to result in profit. Even though you're spending more money on cannonballs than you would just, normally killing them, which seems a bit counterintuitive, you actually make more money because in turn you're going to get quite a few more kills per hour. So that's the simple reason why we use a cannon. And secondly, why we're using a whip over Zamorakian Hasta. Now, Skeletal Wyverns are weak to crush, so it would make sense to use a Zami Hasta on crush. However, the reason why it's better or roughly equal to use an Abyssal Whip is because right now with my max melee gear setup that I was using before, my slash bonus is 105 with the whip. With that same gear setup on, my crush bonus with the Hasta is only 88. So your slash bonus with the whip is significantly higher than the crush bonus with the Hasta. So even though they're weak to crush, it equals out that because your whip is more accurate, it actually is about the same. And at the moment, Zami Hastas are very, very expensive, so it's best to just stick to a whip. Alright, so once you guys are ready to go, make your way to a fairy ring. I'm going to show you guys the way that I get to the fairy rings. It is the fastest way by far that I know of, so if you have a Slayer ring, you should definitely take this method. Rub your Slayer ring and teleport to the Relica Slayer Caves. If you do not have a Slayer ring, the other fastest way that I know of is to go to Edgeville Bank, where I just was, to run across the bridge, go a bit south, and take that fairy ring. Anyways, however you manage to make your way to a fairy ring, enter it, and then of course it will take you to Zenaris. Once you get to Xanaris, use it again, and you can click on the Mud Skipper point. Now, if you've never been there before, you won't have this. So the code is AIQ. Once you have that selected, teleport there, and it will take you south of Port Sarim, and you can run a bit north. There'll be a big hill. You may remember this from the... oh, what's it called again? It's the quest where you make the blue-right sword, basically. You know, Thurgo's right here. Oh my goodness, sandwich lady. What do you want? Okay, so... pretty much, this is the path. Just follow where I'm going. Make your way to the top of this hill and climb down the ladder. There will be some pirates and thugs down here. Now, I know these are very spooky, but don't worry, they won't kill you. It's okay. So run north, then make your way east. You run past the ice giants and ice warriors. Like I said, I'm pretty sure if you've completed the... I'm going to find it because it's going to bother me. The Knight Sword, that quest, you should be familiar with this area. This is the area that you have to come to mine the blue-right ore. So just continue making your way this way. You can equip your whip or Hastar or whatever you're choosing to use. And once you get about to the middle, run a bit south and there will be another cave entrance right here. And it will take you to the Skeletal Wyverns. Now, hopefully there aren't people in this world. If there is, it's going to be a little bit weird. But I'm going to enter the cave. Now, there's multiple locations you can kind of stop and kill these. I'm going to show you the area that I kill them because this spot right here, right by the entrance, is usually where the rangers kill them, which I will show you how to do in a bit. But I usually like to run south and then west a bit, and hopefully there's nobody here at the moment. There is not. Okay, so once you get here, pot up, I like to come about right here and put my cannon down. And you can start killing the Skeletal Wyverns. Now, Skeletal Wyverns use all three forms of attack. They use magic, they use range, and they use melee. Magic, you cannot defend against. That little fire breath thing right there, that was their magic attack. You cannot defend against that. Wearing carols, protecting magic, none of that helps whatsoever. Which is why you want to maximize your melee and range defense. So, my cannon's being a little weird right now. It's not, it doesn't feel like shooting it, which is weird. Sometimes that happens, but that's really all there is to it, guys. Just start killing the wyverns and collecting your loot. It is very, very simple. If you do start to get low HP, you can always put protect from range on. If you are going to protect anything, that is the best thing to protect from. Their melee attacks are pretty inaccurate, and their range will actually damage you a bit, so make sure you're praying range if you're going to pray anything. You can unload your special attacks. Like I said, guys, if you're meleeing them, this is a very, very basic... I just hit a 61. Oh my goodness. Because my Dragon Mace wants to show off for the guide. My cannon is a little broken right now. I honestly have no idea why, but... one other thing, as you can see, I'm not using prayer, so I'm not bringing prayer potions. I just got PJ'd. Are you kidding me? I'm not using prayer, so I'm not bringing prayer potions. So in order to still get fast kills, what you should do is pray flick piety, like I am right now. I'm not the best at it, according to you guys. However, you get the concept. You should flick on piety or super strength or whatever you can use right as you're hitting. That way you still get the bonuses from using the prayer, but you're not draining your prayer. So overall, guys, it's very, very basic to kill these. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot to meleeing them. The range guide I'm going to show you gets a little more difficult, but ranging them or meleeing them, it's very, very basic. Just put your cannon down and start killing them. Hopefully try and find a spot where your cannon can't hit them. As you saw there, my cannon was out of range, so I kind of took a few steps back, made it move towards me, and now my cannon is in range to hit it. Alright, so I'm going to be back once I'm done with this inventory, and then I'm going to show you guys how to Safespot them and use range. At this point in the trip, about halfway through, I do like to repot. My stats currently are 110 out of 118. Now I am, 99 attack and strength, so the numbers will be different for you. Just when I get around that status, where I can boost about 8 or 9 more, I do like to repot, that way I can, maximize the amount of melee damage I'm doing, which, of course, is going to keep your kills per hour high, which is kind of the whole idea here. So, my trip is almost over. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so my inventory is full. Now, one thing I want to make sure you guys know, too, is when you're tellying out, make sure you prioritize drops over bones. For example, my wyvern bones right here are only about 1750 each, whereas there's 3 Renar seeds in the ground, which is, I don't know, like a lot of money. So make sure you're picking up the the drops that are worth more money before you're teleporting, and I just got a massive lag spike. Okay, so now a lot of you might think, well, what am I going to do with my cannon? I don't have 4 free space for my cannon. If you're doing multiple trips, you do not need to pick up your cannon. Your cannon will stay there. So what I do to make sure it doesn't decay or anything is I drop 4 bones, pick it up. Like, I'm lagging really bad right now, and I don't know why. I'm sorry about this. If it'll let me. I'll drop my cannon and then set it back down. That way I know for sure it will not decay. I can go to the bank, grab a new inventory, come back, and my cannon will still be here. So that's just a quick little tip. And oh my god, why am I lagging? So then, of course, just pick your bones back up. This is terrible. Jagex, fix your servers. Oh my god. Trying to make a guide here. Okay, I'm probably going to DC now. Just saying. Okay, there we go. We picked all the bones back up. Then here's what I do to bank. I break my house teleports. Now this is important, honestly. As long as you have around 50 construction, which is what I have, you can have an altar in your house. This is a free way to get your prayer back up. So what I like to do is just recharge my prayer, go to Edgeville Bank, and then just repeat the process. Edgeville Bank is a good way to bank too if you don't have Slayer rings, because obviously, like I said before, that fairy ring is just across the bridge. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys how to kill them with range. Alright, so now onto the range setup. It's actually very, very simple. Just use the best range armor you have. Personally, I am wearing Full Void, an Armored Crossbow, Ava's Accumulator, Fury, Mind Shield, Snakeskin Boots, and Broad Bolts. If you do have a Dragonfire Shield, do not wear it for this, as a DFS has like -5 range bonus, something like that. Make sure you are wearing either a Mind Shield or an Elemental Shield, that way you're not getting that negative range bonus. Don't use anything more than Broad Bolts. If you're using diamonds, those are actually going to be kind of expensive and not really worth it, so make sure you're using Broad Bolts, and if you don't have Full Void or an Armored Crossbow, just wear the best D-Hide you have and a Rune Crossbow. Your inventory is again very, very basic. You have a teleport to the house, some prayer potions, some ranging potions, a Slayer ring, a Drayman staff, and some sharks. The reason why we have range potions is because you can't safe spot them right away. You do have to kill them. However, you can stand at a safe distance and just pray range. So that's why we have very, very little sharks. So, alright, make your way back to the Skeletal Wyverns, however you made there, however you made it there the first time, or however I showed you before, and I'll meet you there. Alright, so once you're here, find an open world where there are no rangers or anyone standing around the entrance, because you do have to kill them near this entrance. So once you're ready to go in, drink your ranging potion and turn on Protect from Range, and you can start attacking them. Now keep in mind this is going to be a lot slower than the melee method, but you will not use any supplies. In order to only take range damage, I think you have to be standing 5 steps away. You'll be able to tell. I mean, if you're standing too close, you'll get hit by magic, so just stand a decent ways away and kill them with range. Now the safe spotting comes in once they go unaggressive. Naturally, if you safe spotted them now, it wouldn't work. The other ones would just aggressively attack you. So I'll be back in just a second. Just kill them like this normally until they are unaggressive, and then I'll show you how to safe spot them. Alright, so they are now unaggressive to me, so I can start luring them. I'm going to attack this one. He's actually lined up very nicely, so where I'm going to run is right to this spot right here. It's going to approach me, and what do you know? I can shoot it, but it cannot attack me back. Very nice. So that's all you have to do, guys. Just, unfortunately, you do have to burn some prayer potions to get them unaggressive, but once they're unaggressive, you can pretty much just use this rock back and forth to safe spot them, and it's very, very nice. Well, guys, that is going to be it for this guide. I hope you guys all did enjoy and found it useful. And guys, let me know down below if you guys have any questions, and if you did find the guide useful, feel free to leave a like. It really does help, and I will see you guys later.